everybody's got something to give, and it doesn't have to be, time or money or really good referrals that are going to be like, hey, that's a home run for somebody. They're going to make, X amount of money on it or something, but it could just be a connection through a connection through a connection that you're trying to bring people in together.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Connections That Matter, where we have conversations with Northern Colorado's best networkers and find out about all the connections that they've made that have led to their success. And today I've got Tim Lee on the podcast. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tim, Integrity Construction. I feel like I've been taking a lot of your time. You've been doing some work on my house and my properties and stuff like that. But if people haven't networked with you or met you yet, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah, so we're a general contractor located out of West Greeley. I personally am a licensed general contractor, and what we specialize in is helping people, really. We do a lot of insurance reconstruction work, and then on top of that, we do bathrooms, kitchens, basements, and full house remodels, old rental remodels, whatever a guy needs.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
How did, have you always grown up be a handy guy, a trades guy?
Yeah, I had some family members that were in construction, so I kind of grew up around a little bit. Then I heard a lot of fun fish stories, big fish stories from my dad about construction things, so that was always kind of in the back of my mind. And then, I did some framing and electrical work when I was younger. And then just growing up, really, what I always wanted to be was a business owner, an entrepreneur. I joked about it a lot with a lot of my friends when I was growing up. I wanted to own a coffee shop, or something fun like that. So, and then this is just kind of what I fell into, to be honest with you. Yeah, just kind of, it morphed a little bit from lots of connections, really. It just kind of turned into, I think this is a business. I think I should run with it. So, yeah.
Well, and construction's a big field, but how did you really, hey, here's what I'm really good at, here's what I market myself to be, and really dial in what you do?
Yeah, as a general contractor, my job is to network, right, and find the right people. I would say that's kind of one of my strong suits. Once I start rolling with people and start jiving, and I can find somebody, a trade partner, or hire somebody that's good at one specific thing, I can utilize that, and I can bring that solution to other people. So kind of my job really is to put people together, and take care of people and find solutions through different issues.
Well, I imagine every project's different, but you might need a different team to fulfill the right project.
Yeah.
How do you qualify your subs or keep them loyal to you, but also that, you got competitive work, all that good stuff?
Yeah. That's one of the biggest struggles for sure, I would say, is finding the right people to bring it to, it's their castle, it's their home, especially when it's unoccupied, it's one thing, right? Or if it's a new build, it's something. But whenever you're doing a bathroom remodel or you're doing something that, you're going into somebody's house, it's their castle, and you have to work around their dogs and their schedule and their, the everyday life that they live there. So, if we're doing like a kitchen remodel or something, it becomes a big thing.
Sure.
But yeah, so we're always just we're going through people, as we deem fit, and then finding the right ones and sticking with them. And once we stick with them, it's kind of how do you take care of them, like you're saying, build the loyalty and everything. But it's always just about communication and how I can make their job easier. So I've been trying to build those systems this year more than other years, I would say, with being like, here's a sheet and this is what we need. And do you need anything else from me? And then just daily check-ins and fun stuff like that.
Anybody specifically you want to shout out that's been a really good partner, has been loyal to you for a while?
Yeah, you talked a little bit about, some fun stories and stuff like that. It's my company kind of came from networking in a weird way. I was just at a NAPA.
Okay. Some good networking happens at a NAPA.
This is where NAPA parking lot, actually, right?
On.
And I'm at this NAPA parking lot, and I had a rough day at work. I was working for a different company at the time where we were like 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off, and I just got off, and this guy came over, and he was like, hey, nice flatbed. And I was like kind of already grumpy, and I was like, okay, thanks, man. He's like, I've been looking to get a flatbed. He had the same kind of truck as mine, and this guy just wanted to talk. He just wanted to network, and he just seemed like such a genuine guy. So, I struck up a conversation with him. Turns out he's an excavator, and he has a small excavation company, and he needed a hand every once in a while. He's like, yeah, if you're not busy on your 2 weeks off, come help me. So I ended up starting to help him. And from all these small little, day jobs or a few days here and stuff, I was trying to build up my company on these 2 weeks off. I just started realizing like this guy, he knew everybody, and he was like a natural connector. And
he can meet somebody at a NAPA parking lot, right? That's just who he is in life.
That's just who he is, right? Yeah. Talking about flatbeds or whatever came up at the time, So, and from that, I felt like I built some confidence, just being like, it's kind of about who you know and how you bring those connections in with people and how you can help one person find another person, and then how that person can help, whatever that other, your sphere of influence, I guess, right? So
when you've been networking for a long time, you've experienced some good things, some bad things, but what would you say is like the key to networking?
Giving. Okay. Giving, I would say, is the key to networking. It's not about what you can receive from somebody. It's how you can give, but also connect those people with other people. So if you're always constantly thinking about that, kind of like when we sat down the first time, it's like, in which sphere of influence you have, can you help other people kind of thing. It's a thought process of, the more you give, the more you get. But even if you don't get anything out of it, what those people can help and how many people those people can help from what you can help them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about being a giver, because I think sometimes that's what holds people back. Like they want to join these groups, but they're like, oh my God, I just don't feel like I have the resources to help all these people.
Yeah.
What do you do to make to be a giver, to make the referrals that are flowing out or the resources that are flowing out be abundant?
Yeah. I mean, I think one-to-ones are important, which I'm not the best at. I kind of vanguard my time, mostly because I end up working till 10 p.m. it seems like, and my wife's about like this, most of the time. But one-to-ones, I think, are important, just to be able to get to know somebody and sit down and realize, once you get to know them, I think you can realize what you can do for people. And, everybody's got something to give, and it doesn't have to be, time or money or really good referrals that are going to be like, hey, that's a home run for somebody. They're going to make, X amount of money on it or something. But it could just be a connection through a connection through a connection that you're trying to bring people in together. I think that's kind of what the giving part is about, is how it doesn't matter what it is. It could be tiny or it could be huge, I think, but every little thing makes a big difference, especially in our world and entrepreneurs and like just business owners, and just, it's a big deal. It's lonely. It's lonely being a business owner. It's lonely doing what we do. So, to be able to find like-minded individuals that kind of can, even if it's just a tiny little bit, help out just a little bit. It's a big deal for people. Yeah.
Well, I see that, like, I walk into a room, I don't know as much people. Yeah, I don't know how to help them, but people will tell you if you listen.
Yeah.
And those people who are networking that are generally trying to build relationships, you'll hear of an opportunity or something that someone's looking for, and it's amazing how much like your life will just show that, and you're like, oh my, I just met this person. Okay. They can help that and make that connection.
And that's the funnest part of it, man. It's like I put these two together, and then like that was 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and like now they're starting a business together or whatever, right? It's truly listening to people, but beyond that, it's just it's fun what God puts into your world, and the connections that are made just through the world and the universe and whatever's coming up, right? It's just like, everything just clicks, especially when you put yourself out there and you really, like you're talking about, it's like you're listening, and you got to listen because you got to open up your mind a little bit.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, Integrity Construction, right? It's the brand, but what does integrity mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it means doing the right thing when nobody's looking, right? I think that's kind of a big part of it. And as we build our team culture and, and in-house things, and I kind of dial some stuff on, it's under-promising and over-delivering, in client relations, I think, because anybody can fix, there's a tile that's askew or something weird, right? The client doesn't like it, it's not that big of a deal. We can fix it. But it's when you ignore it or you brush it off or you're rude about it, little things are easy to fix. We can put it up, we can put it back together, whatever it may be, but it's going to be client relations, I think. So it's like a bespoke experience for our clients, really, is what I'm trying to create, which is not easy, So that's part of the work until 9 or 10 p.m. is trying to dial in systems and how I can figure out how to, make that kind of experience for my customers.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a sense of service too. I'm curious, you talk about like, hey, I want to make sure my client has a good experience, or I want to do the right thing, or really take care of the human being that's behind the bid and the project.
Yeah.
Sometimes that might come in odds of like you taking care of yourself. I'm thinking like you said, I'm staying to 10 p.m. at night. Maybe like, my wife is counting on me. How do you balance that as an entrepreneur between doing what you know to do as an entrepreneur versus doing what you know you need to do for yourself?
That's a real stressful situation, and we just don't talk about that, Andrew. We just ignore it and we just push through. No, I mean, honestly, I have an incredible support system in my family, in my immediate family, and my wife. She's very lenient, I will say, in that regards. But yeah, I think work-life balance is a real thing. Especially, and a lot of business owners are like that, right? And they push, and they push, and they push. And I'm right now specifically trying to work on building systems that will allow me not to be burnt out and allow me to kind of get that work-life balance where, I don't think I could ever work 40 hours a week, but, if I can do 50, 60, I'd be pretty happy, but the 70, 80 is a little bit much, so I'm trying to find that balance, but I'm just like that. I like to try to, get ahead of things, or build things or try to come up with systems that'll work. So that's part of what I'm doing right now, but yeah. It's a different world for sure, being business owners and everything. So networking helps, though, I think, and the support systems that you find within networking and the people that you connect to randomly, and the universe brings you together and God creates that world for you. It's just, every time I want to quit, I feel like it's like, no, you're not quitting. Something else happens, and then I get pushed in a direction. So it's pretty fun, I think, too. So,
well, talk to me about networking as a tradesperson, because I see, some networks either don't have any tradespeople at all, or that's like the main focus of the group. So, as a trades business, I see some networks, they're either very trades heavy and they got a lot of them, or they got none of them.
Yeah.
And I'm curious of why that is. What do you see that, like, as a trades professional, what are you looking for in a networking group that you would seek out?
I haven't really, a lot of the networking that I've done in the past has been, some of the speed networking things or the random event, or, I got invited. And then beyond that was like, I don't know if I should name
it's right.
names, B&I,
yeah.
Like B&I. And I would say the time suck from some of those places and the return on value, your ROI from some of these are just, for tradespeople specifically, are just not quite enough, it seemed like.
Sure.
I would say, like networking in action, the difference between some of these different networking groups that I've been to, and specifically networking in action, would be the value that I get from it. Or like, it's true, and it's substantial to the point where it's like, sometimes when I leave those, I'm like, it was a, it hit you, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff we go through and the things that we learn, and it's specific to the business or your life and what you're trying to create in your world and everything like that, really makes you think. I think that's pretty fun. As far as like the tradespeople involved in those situations, I think it's just tough. It's tough to push out that much time for something that you don't see an ROI on, and, for us, it's like, man, I got to get this backsplash set so that the plumber can get in there to put a vanity, and I can't, allocate the time and stuff. And there's always a lot of push on schedule, in the sequence of schedule, it's tight. If you want to try to make money is what we do, it's tight. So it's hard to put the time into networking sometimes, like I said, but I think tradespeople really, like you're saying, it's rather a bunch of tradesmen in one group, and then it just almost doesn't make any sense because You know, I
Sure.
mean, it's once you find your trade partners and you find your people that you kind of jive with. You know, I mean, I don't know how much it really makes sense, but expanding outside of a network that is not just tradespeople, so that you can kind of bring value to other places and people can pick you out whenever you need to be picked out. So yeah,
For
I don't
sure.
know if that answers your question.
No,
It's a
I
roundabout
think-
way of saying networking is awesome. It's the right networking thing. Yeah.
I think it's important to like, what is truly the cost of this networking opportunity? Because
Yeah.
if I'm turning down a piece of business, if I'm spending a lot of time, but they're not getting a return.
Yeah.
The other thing to highlight is the work, when we're talking about working on your business and working in your business, sometimes more business isn't always helpful. Like if you're networking and let's say it's working really well, but you can't handle that much.
Yep.
How do you manage kind of the flow of the results that come into you to be the right amount of busy?
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because it is exactly that. And I do fear coming to networking things sometimes because of that. It's like, I love people. I love making solutions and making people happy and providing a service for them that just gets weight off their shoulders. I love that part. Like it's why we like doing insurance reconstruction too, because I can come in and give them a silver lining when they're like under so much stress and so that's a really fun thing for me. But then you go to, it's a stressful thing when you're like, oh man, how am I gonna, if I make too many connections here, all of a sudden it's going to be too much work, you know? So, and I think that's going to go back to what I've been really concentrating on this year is like, don't scale a turd, right? So if I want to be able to handle the right business.
How am I going the title?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that's good. No, that's good advice though.
Yeah, because, realistically, if you have the right systems in place and the right people in place, and I think I have the right people in place, I just don't have the right systems in place to be able to provide the correct service for my clients sometimes. So, if we're doing $4 million a year, if that's a substantial amount that we can't handle correctly, then I might as well just scale that way back until I can handle that amount. So, but connections are always going to be there. I don't think anybody in our world and business and entrepreneurship and everything like that, if you tell them I'm just too busy right now to handle that referral, but I really appreciate that, but please keep me on your mind for anything in the future, I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, that guy's horrible.
No.
I think they'd appreciate it because it's you can only handle so much at one time. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what's the vision, Tim? Where you growing to? Where do you see Integrity in a couple of years?
I see Integrity Construction and Restoration as a company that I could pass along to my son. I see it as something that is not stressful if somebody wanted to take it over.
Yeah.
I see it as sellable. I see it as just something that's a fine, well-run machine to the point where it's not such a stressful thing for myself to be a part of, and whatever it may be. And then beyond that, I see it as a solution driven. I just want to bring solutions to people that need it. I just want to help people and I want to do it on a scale of whatever that may look like, So I want to be able to handle this business and not be like stressed out that I can't take that, kind
Sure.
of thing. So that's where I see it. Yeah.
Well, Tim, if people want to come network with you, or maybe they got a leak that just happened in a bathroom and they need some insurance reconstruction, or maybe they're just looking to build their dream kitchen, how can people get a hold of you?
IntegrityStampOfApproval.com, and there's a contact us form. Fill that out. It goes right to me, and from there I can help you out anyway. And then, if you want to connect directly, we'll put something in the show notes for an email and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right on, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show,
Sure, man.
sharing, and I really have enjoyed you networking with you around Northern Colorado, and from personal experience can give some testimony of the great work that you do.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on. It's been great.
Right on. Thanks, Tim. Hey, all. Thanks for watching. I love networking and building relationships with other Northern Colorado business leaders. So if you want to come meet some of these podcast guests, meet me, or meet some other amazing entrepreneurs in Northern Colorado, I would love to have you attend one of our next events. Go in the podcast description. There's a ways that you can see our upcoming schedule, and maybe you could be a future podcast guest as well. Thanks.